welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to share with you what's in our morning cart for our second quarter of homeschool. So if you enjoy this type of content and other homeschool and lifestyle content, please remember to subscribe and let's get into it. All right, so about 2 months ago, I put out what's in our morning basket or morning cart. We have it in a cart, not a basket. And that was basically what we are using for the whole year with stuff that we are going to change out from quarter to quarter. So today I'm just showing you the things that changed. There's not crazy amounts of stuff, but there's still enough that I thought you might be interested in kind of how I go through things. And just right before this video, like before this video, I talked about our quarter one review and mentioned figuring some things out and changing science units because we finished the last one. And then also trying to figure out our history unit that we're gonna do for this next quarter. So I'm gonna show that to you and kind of talk a little bit about it because that's something new that's in our morning cart. So let's get into it. All right, so this front part of the cart is basically the same because we have our geography curriculum that's here and nothing really has changed very much for that. And then we also have our scripture workbooks, and our scriptures are down a little bit lower in the cart, and I'll show you that in a minute. But I did want to mention, for people that wanted the Redheaded Hostess scripture booklets for this next year, because we study the scriptures as members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints from January to December. We change different books of scripture we're focusing on. And so the book of scripture will change in January. So she has her workbooks available right now. They just released maybe a month ago. And so I already have mine, but if you want yours, I would go get them now. If you live in Utah or maybe some of the surrounding states, they do sell them at Costco, but they do sell out quickly. So they are available currently. I think most of them are on her website. So if you're interested in that, I just wanted to mention it quickly. So that stuff is all very much the same. So as we move further back in the cart, and this bin right here is where I keep our science and history booklets. And so we're currently doing Wonders of Energy. We ended the last quarter with this because our science units usually don't take us the whole quarter. And so I usually end up starting a new one. So we're doing Wonders of Energy, and then I keep all my kids' books, their journals, right next to it. So when I'm setting out schoolwork at night, I can easily just grab them all, put them down with the rest of their schoolwork, and it's very, very simple and very fast. And so we have that, and this unit will take us to right before Thanksgiving. And I won't be changing out our morning cart again until January. And here is why. Christmas. So Christmas changes things a little bit. The morning cart, even though we'll be done with this science unit, I won't put a new one in here until January, because the first 3 weeks of December, we try to do our group work around a little bit more Christmas theme. And so my kids will still do their individual subjects, but then our group work will change. So I won't be putting any of that stuff in the morning cart for Christmas, but I'll have a video that kind of explains what we're doing and stuff like that, including some fun oral reports that my kids are gonna be doing, so you can look forward to that. They're gonna pick their own countries that they can do some stuff with, so we're excited about that. But, so this science unit will be in here, but then there won't be a new one until January, even though this one we will be done with the week before Thanksgiving. I planned it to do 4 science lessons that week because I knew we were going to be going into Christmas stuff, and I didn't want to wait till January to finish the Wonders of Energy stuff. And so I was like, okay, well, I'll just put 4 of them that week and we'll just go through them so we can take Thanksgiving week off, and then we'll come back and do Christmas type stuff. So that's what's in here for now. And then for our history unit, I had decided to do the Titanic. I printed these ones a long time ago. These are from the Waldock Way. She has mini units for lots of history studies and things like that. So I feel like earlier this year, or maybe even last year, we were going to study this, but I didn't have a solid idea of how we were gonna do it. And so I now sort of do. I don't want to say I have a solid idea because I don't know if I really do. But we're studying the Titanic for the next basically 4 weeks, I guess, and talking about it and doing some read alouds. So I'll flip you around in a minute and show you a few of the things on the cart. Again, not a whole lot has changed, but I'll show you a few of those read alouds and things like that we're going through. So that's the things the big things that have changed on the cart, because we're doing a new science unit since the beginning since, you know, the last time I would have shown you this, and we have a new history unit since we finished Pompeii. All right, so I'm just gonna show you this section real quickly. The bottom is mostly the same as it would have been in the Morning Basket one that came out a couple months ago, except for maybe a few Titanic books that I put down there just in case we get to them. But this section, I had everything separated by books. You know, so like they have a journal, like my year of writing, my year of nature, and then they have these little notebooks right here that they use for journal study. I write a question on the board every day for journaling, and then they will fill it out. And then they also have their scriptures in here. So every single week I would just sort them back out and put them on here. And I realized that was just taking way longer because I had to look in the book every time I set out their group work and see whose book was whose. And so then I just left them in sections. So these are in sections for my kids. So my 4 older kids each have a section of books here. So it's really easy because this notebook has their name on the front. So I can just pull the whole thing out and set it, and it goes quicker. Any place I can save some time around here, we take it. And then we have Ernest Shackleton because we are still reading through that. We're almost halfway through it, so we're gonna keep reading it and plan to finish it before Thanksgiving break. So that's the goal with that one. And then I have some Titanic books. These are the ones we are currently working on. So we're reading What Was the Titanic? And we read another one, I think, where did I put it? Right here. And so this one is the Titanic Lost and Found. And so I try to start when we start a new unit for history and cover more like historical fiction is how I like to study them. But I like to start with these books because they're a little bit more factual and just give some background. Like this one is talking all about how ships were built, how the Titanic was built, how it was like, I don't know, decorated, I guess, and all the things that went on inside of it. So I like to have these kind of books going first, and then we add in some sort of historical fiction. So I Survived, we read one of these for Pompeii, my kids enjoyed it. It's a simpler book, so it doesn't take super long to read, and they could read it themselves very easily if I wanted them to do that. But this is a historical fiction book. My kids were confused about that. I'm like, how do they know all these things when no one survived like Pompeii and stuff? So this is a historical fiction book, and yeah, we'll read this afterwards. And I have some other historical fiction books. I don't know if anybody else is like me, but as a kid, I was fascinated with the Titanic. I don't know why. I was also fascinated with World War II. I still am fascinated with both. And I've read several books of both. So I have some more simple books that I would have read when I was younger, like more my kids' ages. And then I have some that I've read more recently. And so there's one of them that's about the Carpathia that I'm like, maybe we'll read that one because that's the ship that rescued the Titanic survivors. And that's by Rebecca Conley. And so I'm like, maybe we will read through that one and see if that's good, because it's not too long and it's just a good story from a different perspective on what was going on. So that's something else that I have right here. And then I was trying to get to this book first quarter, but we just didn't do it. Everything took longer to read, as is generally the case. But I'd rather have like an extra book to grab just in case we finish early than not have one at all to read. And so I have this one sitting here. So when we finish these other ones, we can read that. And then we have our like Breathe Like a Bear. And then I think our other one is here, Peaceful Like a Panda. So like mindfulness type stuff. They're very quick. And then this is the Question a Day journal for kids. This is where I take the questions from that they write in these teeny little notebooks right here. And so I leave it right here. And this stuff, all right here in the front, I set out in my pile when I'm setting out schoolwork. So if we're doing science, I'll set out the science teacher workbook and this. If we're doing our geography, I'll set out our big geography book that's for the teacher, and then all their workbooks, and then their schoolwork here, and then put my pile of books with my stuff. And so that's kind of how I do it, and it's easy. Like I just work through all the books. Originally I was like, well, I want this cart so I can take it places, like for doing stuff at the kitchen table and things. But since I have little kids now, they just get into everything on here. And so now I just set everything out back here on our homeschool table, and then my kids either will bring it if we're doing it out at the kitchen table. Most of the time we're back here now, or they'll just sit here and we'll go through all of our schoolwork. So that's kind of what we do. This side back here that's kind of hidden back here is the scripture type study stuff, and that will all change. So when you see me do a morning basket refresh type thing in January, a lot more things will change because all of our scripture study stuff will change around too. So that will be changed, and I think that's about it. This is kind of where we're at right now. It's nice to change out all the old things that we're done with, put in some new things, and to continue on doing so much fun homeschool stuff. All right, so that's what's in our morning cart for this next quarter. I hope you enjoyed this kind of a refresh type of a video of our morning cart so we could be ready for quarter 2. I know it's a little bit like repetitive or redundant sometimes, but sometimes it's helpful just to see what people do throughout the school year, you know, to stay organized, or how they switch out their curriculums, or maybe what they're actually working on right now. I find those things helpful, and so that's why I'm doing it. So hopefully you enjoyed this video and it was useful for you. And then the one in January will be a bigger refresh, as well as we switch out some more things, and so you can look forward to that one. But comment down below and let me know what you're currently working on. If you use a morning cart, a morning basket, I'm sure it'd be helpful just for everyone here to know. And remember to give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you next time.